So somebody asked me if I think, there's not as much of a hoopla or there's not this Ghostbusters where I think the Illuminati is on these altars and there's just like this ghost spirit comes up, and lightning bolts and shit, and it just gives them all the orders and decrees and prophecies how to rule the people and passes it down to the Pope. Like why do they have so much power if this is not what they are doing? Like they must be doing something so, again, fantastical. you know, it's just this caricature that people make in their minds when they talk about the Illuminati. It's just, it crosses the line. Now, we do understand they do have power, but what type of power do they have? If you really think about it, it's, again, it's mental control. It's like what government means, government, mind. So, the word, etymologically speaking, relates to governing the mind. But they're supposedly the super government. So they govern the minds of, what, millions at least. Millions. And if they don't govern the minds of millions, they at least have a great influence on the lives of billions. A great influence. So it can't be denied, and I would not deny that because I made a video about Satanism. This was based on the atheistic Satanism. Now, the Illuminists practice, I think, what do they call it? It's just basically the Illuminati's version of Satanism, of course. They're not atheists. So they do believe in the devil, you could say, or actually they believe in the God of this world, whom is the devil. Now, this is what most Christians don't understand, of course. I talked about that, how Christians don't understand how the Old Testament God is actually the devil, the creator Satan of this material realm. This is the allegory and the narratives that the Bible teach. They know that the creator God, which again is an anthropomorphic concept, but it has a root of truth in it. But again, it's a caricaturization of the concept of an evil creator being the maker of this world, because like I always talk about, I mean, it's clear that this world is evil because it causes suffering. It inflicts suffering, and it even endures suffering, which is evil in of itself. Like a disease and illness is considered an evil because it causes someone to suffer. So that's an evil. And it also inflicts suffering, as we see in the natural kingdom and even in the human kingdom, physically, mentally. It's constant wars that people play with each other. So there's war at every level. Nutrition is war. No one here survives. I don't know the number. I don't feel like looking it up right now. Thousands of animals that people eat a year. 1,000 slaughtered a minute. This is just it's shit. Like what else is evil but that? Now you will say, well, but it's natural. We have to do it. Yeah, that's the point. The natural equals evil because it inflicts and endures suffering. So again, the evil God of this world concept, they understand, the Illuminists do, and they supposedly believe. Now, of course, this gets down to us through levels and levels and levels and levels of counterintelligence, true intelligence, shields, agents, double agents, triple agents, reporters, authors, investigators with their own biases and delusions. And then it finally, with the internet, everybody just reads the stuff. So you can't tell fact from fiction, trash from treasure. But so they believe this concept, or they know this concept. They know that this realm is the manifestation of an energy, or you could call it a will, actually, that is basically evil. So, the Illuminist Satanists look at it a little deeper Then the atheist Satanists, they take it to megalomaniacal heights, basically, is what the Illuminati do. So their power lies in the fact that, as of now and as of, the past shit, fucking thousands years, maybe, with these, the chosen people, supposedly, because they're at the top. So, and they believe that the majority of the population of humans are goyim. They're animals. That's how they look at humans, and they look at it as if they're farming these humans. So, of course, they're intelligent. They're narcissistic. They're predatory. They're psychopathic. They're very calculating. I mean, they're like, serial killers, robbers, but also on the flip side, of course, they don't see themselves that way. Again, they see themselves as perfecting a rough rock into a stone or whatever. They consider humanity, just, uncouth, basically. And it's their job, of course, embracing this narcissistic, pathological, psychopathic will. It's their job to tame this herd of goyim, basically. So that's how they see the world. From that comes people who know, the Illuminati and Satan worshippers and devil worshippers, blood sacrifices. And yeah, they do perform rituals. But anybody who knows what rituals are just ways to program the subconscious mind and will. That's why I made a video on the money techniques. Again, it's just psychological. It's very powerful. Like, these things happen to me every day because this is psychophysical existence. It's intertwined with the mind, but it sort of interplays off each other. It's like a bilateral exchange within certain bounds, of course. So rituals are used to affect you at that level, to make your reality become reality. People say, how did Donald Trump become president? I mean, did you get inside of his head? This guy is so, it's like he is the epitome of a big-headed person. But that's what law of attraction is all about, right? If you can think it, you can be it. And so this is what Donald Trump has done. And it's just funny how everybody's some people, oh no, the Illuminati put him in there. The Simpsons predicted it. It's all set up. They knew he was going to become president. Okay, that may be true. I'm not going to say there's not truth in that angle. But think about it. Even if that's the case, it still comes back to the fact that this man was born with this mentality. You're fired. He's a fast talking, and yeah, a lot of times he does some, over the top silly shit. But, if you really have a conversation with him, I'm sure, in the boardroom or whatever, like some of those White House round table, long table press conferences, he really, shows some astuteness and, sharpness. We can't deny that, But the point is, he was born with that mentality. So even if you're saying, okay, they planned for him to be the president 15 years ago, the Illuminati, still everything he had to be his part, not play his part. He is his part. So yet and still, he manifested the presidency. A guy like that, a non-politician with, a major confidence. I mean, and it's funny just how the public throws tomatoes at him, and from one angle, it's real. The policies are real. In the mundane world, you need those people to hold up the picket signs and fight this stuff. But, ultimately, there is a deeper understanding to that too, or it's a deeper paradox you see between what the crowd is doing, throwing tomatoes at a man who really, in the end, manifested what most people want anyway. I mean, come on. It's just this confidence that most people wish they had is what I'm saying. And I'm just bringing that back to, of course, like I said, law of attraction, programming the subconscious mind, ritual. So their rituals are programming the subconscious mind. So there's power in the rituals, but like I mentioned in the Satanism video, again, but at the end of the day, they're burning fires, bonfires, they're camping out, with the 13-year-old on the grill. That's fucked up, for real. But the energy, the emotive, the fear of that child there's an energy release that is real, you know. And it's just like you can feel when somebody's mad at you. So this stuff is real. This was, you know, this is within the bounds of reality. This is what they're doing. It's an energetic exchange. It programs the ritual, the intentions deeper when they do these things. And this is what they understand. And they also understand that they can do this because nothing's going to get them. Nothing's going to have retribution. Jesus is not coming back down to, slay them. It's not happening. They know this because they know that, again, the God of this world, or the will of this world, is evil. So the way of this world is evil. So why would they have retribution for doing what nature does? Nature kills, steals, and exploits to a high degree. So yes, they are doing, these brutal things. We can see what they're doing on the news. And what we hear about with these child pedophilia rings, I'm sure they're doing everything. But this is their form of worship and energy exchange, and this empowers them. This is psychopathy, because psychopathy happens to be a very powerful force in this world. It wins. It dominates in this type of world because, again, this world is psychophysical hell, basically. So when you talk about, like I said, when we imagine them, going into the altars or in the Freemasonic temple, and some ghost or Satan appearing, that is more along the lines of, again, fantastical notion. So what I'm mentioning with the rituals, with, killing the kids, that is where you want to look, because there's the energy exchange, there's the empowering, emotive, psychological influence, and that goes into their subconscious and helps them manifest their plans. But all their plans, of course, have to do with ruling the world, or managing the world. So they have a direct impact on everyone. So again, the guy asks then, well, you can't say there's nothing to it. Well, I went through that spiel just to demonstrate, my perspective on it, because they're exercising their power. Now, of course, every human has this power. They just don't know it. And most people are tricked in, let's just say, mass civilizations to believe that they should be worshiping some benevolent creator who, somehow always serves justice, but of course never really does. And not only that, he doesn't prevent the shit. So there goes the omnipotence, omnipresence. And, anybody who listens to my channel should already know this is bull. So, so there's nothing, coming back to them, especially if they keep their mentality in the right frequency. And with the confidence that they have. This is why, again, they see it as they're ruling over Goyim, and that they can fool, the masses of humans. I mean, like I said, maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 years, these people, these chosen people have been, building up this steam. So I will never deny their influence on the masses. Because look at flat Earth, they convinced everyone that they're living on a spinning ball, rocketing through a vacuum, when we know there's no way. Not only the ocean sticking to the sphere, but there is no way this god awfully massive world is sitting in nothing. That's fucking preposterous. So, really? But, okay, so that's their power, right? Education, religion. Religion. This is one of their major arms. Again, through the Pope, the Black Pope. So, what is religion? We know religion is mind control. It's mind control based off of implanting mostly a lot of fear. It's fear-based. It's based on the fear of death, honestly. Ultimately, that's where all this comes from, a fear of death. That's where this impetus to search for something beyond this world, or to At least you're perplexed by death. So, the human mind wonders about this. So the religions can help to, or they exploit this desire to look for a higher power, something beyond the natural world, or after at least, as a consolation for this shit. So that's their major arm, religion. So again, religion is mind control by way of fantastical notions. These ideas are planted into the mind of a child. So this is actually mental child abuse. Now, this is why when they take over nations, they make the adults convert. Now, some people would say, well, I mean, how can you make somebody convert? Well, it's not really about, see, the adults are, they're doing it out of fear. They have to, basically. It's about the child. It's about getting to the child and having them raised on this belief. And now you have a new population of believers. And this is why you have now, when you have a papal visit, the whole city shuts down. All these lemmings, these goy, these motherfucking goy, these fools, they go out there and they praise this fucking stranger, who in a rotting carcass. They praise this man. So again, I bring it back. Somebody asked, well, how do they have so much power? Think about it. You got see, the real question is, why are people so foolish? This is the real investigation. This is where we should have forums on top of forums on top of forums, digging into this stupid human mind. Again, part of it is because you start off as a child, so you're brainwashed. This is what they talk about when you get into Buddhism too. They're talking about the brainwashing. This is the stuff that they're talking about, because you come in with basically a clean slate. It's basically, there's intentions in there's tendencies, and you can consider that, people like to talk about reincarnation and rebirth. It's a genetic rebirth. Now I'll just use the word genetic, or I can just say blood. It's a bloodline rebirth. So these in a sense, you pre-existed in your ancestors in potential form, in a sense. So, but when you come here, those tendencies and, the will to do certain things over others. Okay, this is not intellect. The intellect, is conditioned by the society and the culture and the religion. So again, when you convert the adults, you have the children, and that's what you were after. So this is the problem. It's the capability or the potential or the vulnerability that humans have for just being able to be brainwashed. Or it's that, and combined with the fact that we share a mammal nature, and mammals just adapt and allow themselves to be conditioned. So their power lies again in people's minds. Think about it. If people just stopped going to church, the world would change overnight, over a month, over a year, whatever. Now, by change, I don't mean the world would get better. I'm saying the Illuminati wouldn't have any power. If people stayed home from church alone, the Illuminati wouldn't have any power. They would already be more thoughtful, sensible, reasonable people. They wouldn't spend so much time, trying to hyperbolize and rationalize and justify and, blow the meaning of their lives out of proportion at church. And even if they don't live that way, the fact that they entertain those notions and they agree to them in public and repeat them every Sunday, just means they're being brainwashed. And if they, so it's even unconscious. If, for a lot of people, it's not so conscious for a lot of people, because everybody's not they were born yesterday, but yet and still. So again, if people just stop going to church, the Illuminati would lose half their power. Think about it. Because this is where the power is, the Holy Roman Empire, etc. Again, so the Pope comes to your town. Everybody stay home. Nobody's looking at this guy anymore. He's lonely. He sits in his truck. Old fart. He just sit. It's not his truck. That bulletproof stupid cart he drives around in. Yeah, he just sits there by himself now with a patrol of a squad patrol with the lights on with no one to protect him from. He looks stupid. See? And he only looks stupid because there's nobody around foolish enough, brainwashed enough to go see this asshole. Guess what? He no longer has any power. So even if he was talking to the greatest demon in the Freemasonic temple, doesn't fucking matter because how about these idiots, these brainwashed lemmings, the goy, stop going to see this asshole when he comes to your town. But they won't. So where is the power, or where is the weakness, or where is the real source of the problem? It's in the human mind, heart. It's in the mortal mind, the mortal heart that they're exploiting. See, this is where they get illuminist on you because they understand these concepts. They're not just, sacrificing children and some demon comes up and swallows the body and then gives them more instructions on how to build that halogen collider and collide these atoms and bring more. And even if they were, again, people can stay home on Sundays. Now the Pope has no audience. Bam, we got the Pope out the way. That easy. See, all the power is actually in the people, but not in how, these cornballs are here talking about like, yeah, every one voice, one vote, all this stupid shit. The power in the people is in the fact that, for instance, the scenario I'm mentioning. Shit, that's your power. Your fucking presence is half your power. Why are you there? Ask these type of questions. So this type of, insight I was speaking about in the previous video. So yeah, that's where the power is, right? I mean, it takes two to play these games. And people don't like to admit this because now you're in a whole nother arena of thought. And they don't want to go there because then, then you have to sit there and analyze yourself. See, so it's all dishonest. So, of course, we understand the Illuminati exist. I understand that they have a dominant influence. But again, where is the influence? That's the real question. And that goes back to when you focus so much on them that they become this caricaturization, these villains, that have so much, power. But again, like I said, they do have power, but where do they have the power? What they are is they are very clever, ruthless people. And they have fought and manipulated their way to the top of human influence. So, and they do understand how this world works and operates. They understand that this world is intrinsically, manifested or expressing of certain tendencies that are, for lack of a better term, evil. And they know what they can do, what they can get away with, like even people in a natural state know they can get away with, killing and stealing. They don't have any problems with it anyway. But it takes it to another level when you get into this this knowledge, this wisdom, this insight, such as the sources that come by way of, say, Hermes, or all these esoteric wise men throughout the ages. What they do is they take this esoteric wisdom from these rare these rare beings who are born down here only once in a once every 500 years or just one gains prominence, in the context of civilization. So, yeah, they take this wisdom and it's very deep. It's psychological wisdom. It's like the Kabbalion. You can read up on, the 7 laws of Hermes or Tahuti. And once you have this deeper understanding of how, the polarity, the rhythm, all this mental, or like I said, psychophysical existence, it's bilateral exchange. So they understand this. They study these things. They understand how to influence people. It's what you would call magic. It's mental magic or whatever, but it's powerful. Again, if you focus on it like they do, and they take it to another level, again, with these murderous rituals, because again, there's a fear, there's an energy exchange. It's an emotive, sort of like a tuning fork almost. It just influences the whole ritual. It makes it that much more powerful and that much more influencing. Like I seen this one tribe in Africa. This was dramatic. They when the men turned 21, they take a razor or very 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 sharp rock. They sharpen it razor blade sharp, and they basically just like slice tiny gills all over their backs and chest and stomach. I think over their whole body actually. The men sit there in agony, but they're toughening their skin and they're putting them through a ritual because it's gonna fiercely, viscerally affect their subconscious mind and their courage. I mean, they're in a natural state, so and they're living the natural life, which is brutal. So that's their form of again, that's a ritual. All that severe pain, the Yakuza do the same thing. That shock of pain has a deep influence on you forever. Like some people will see that as, yeah, he's scarred, but I mean, yeah, literally they are scarred, but it gives them sort of this brute coldness to face the harsh reality. So it's a form of it's a ritual to instill courage. Again, just like when if they murder the kid, it's not them being murdered, but at the same time that energy is present. So its strength is the event, and it affects them on a subconscious mind for what they're trying to do. So again, when they combine this with the wisdom and this intellectual reasoning by way of Hermes, again, guys like that who really go into the mentality and the mentalism, then yeah, you're at another level. But this is the power of or the uniqueness of the human mind, because that's what gives us the advantage over animals. And so relatively, this is why they see the mass population as animals, in that they had the advantage over the animals because of these reasons I'm explaining here, not because this demon is just swooping out of the altar and giving them these demonic instructions to, I mean, okay, yeah, maybe, but really that's just taken away from the fact that they do get into some hardcore some studies in those lodges. I mean, it's serious business. So they understand, again, this mentalism, these rituals, this shock. So they have an influence, or they have gained deep, wide influence on the human animal in this world at this time. And again, they do consider everyone besides them to be animals. The Jews, the chosen people, were the goy. So I went into one video on the fall of man, how they're not actually the Jews in the deepest sense, in the real, true alchemical sense. When I go into talking about the vital breath, and again, these are things that are this is natural. The practice of the vital breath, enlightenment. It's a part of nature. It's the deeper aspect of nature. It is sort of the reversal of nature, though, but it's within the bounds of nature still, because the vital breath again is like the pre-birth breath. Embryonic breath, the breath of the baby and the embryo, because you got to think he doesn't breathe through the mouth or nose. So how does it develop? There's some type of breath energy, and this is a primordial breath energy, and so that's real, because you can practice that and understand what I'm saying. So I'm not giving the impression that I don't believe in something beyond the world, or deeper than the mundane version that most of us approach every day. There's a deeper aspect behind it, within it. So that practice is what purifies this mind body to the most pure psycho state it could possibly be, while incarnate in this pure state basically is non-being. And all it is you realizing that non-being is preferable to being. That's all enlightenment really is. So, why everyone's, showing you chakra pictures and chakra charts and shit. So, why do I say that? Because those are the jewels, because they've regained to the highest extent possible while incarnate, or to the highest extent possible while alive. It demonstrates to the self, and it also points to the fact that yes, it's the reversal of this fallen material realm that is enlightenment. That is the real jewel, the jewels. So that's the real, true, I would say, more truthful, deeper, and I would say positive, I guess, side of the wisdom and the alchemy. What the Freemasons do is more like, it's a more mundane and, for lack of a better term, evil use of the wisdom, because you could flip it. You could take this energy, not the vital breath energy, because the Freemasons know nothing about that. Nothing. They use the brain, the world brain, and they use this as a way to practice alchemy, basically. So they're very intelligent, of course, and so they can manipulate, again, the minds of people with this power, this emotive practices that they do, those rituals that affect them at this deep level. They can their alchemy is on the level of intellectual reasoning, willful conscious intent, which is still, again, mundane. It's not as deep as being the true jewel of alchemy, like I teach on my earlier videos. So that stuff is real. Those are the Jews, the real jewels. So when we get to these people who actually consider us to be relatively animals, they consider themselves, again, to be the alchemists, or they like Newton, searching for this what's the formula to turn lead to gold. They don't understand that really lead to gold is what I just stated. So rewind it. That's the process of turning lead to gold. But in the meantime, there's still these clever guys and these psychopaths, and so yes, they do rule over the people, and they are sort of above the animal mind to a greater degree, because the animal mind doesn't understand or practice the laws, like in the Kabbalion. Animals can never understand that type of thing. The average human doesn't understand that type of thing. There's a quote I mentioned in another video where a guy said, one of these, sages or these enlightened guys. But basically he said, there's a slight difference between humans and animals. Commoners obliterate it, sages maintain it. So the commoners obliterate that slight difference and become animals. This is the premise, and they have these fumes of this sagely understanding that they work out in the mundane world in a mundane way. So they do understand that it is true that most people are considered to be animals. By divine reasoning, I would say, by, I'll use that word again, primordial, pure, whatever, before birth, which even that can be a semantic issue, but I'll just leave it there for now. But again, like the pre-breath, the pure breath, this is again within or behind nature in a sense. So they understand, that most humans, because we are animals, at bottom, we're thinking animals. So we do have that advantage. But the sages, they reverse their entire animal nature to the degree as high as possible while alive, again, as in, a human animal. So they do see most people as animals. So a lot of people get offended when the Jews, when they say that people are goy. Now that's actually true. If you're really into enlightenment and all the chakras and veganism, you actually have to acknowledge the truth in the chosen one's perspective. And I say chosen one sarcastically, but hell, they're chosen enough. Because again, people keep showing up to the papal rallies like they're scared of something almost. You got to think, where does this stuff come from? Where these people invaded countries, killed people in front of people, murdered people. This is where this fear comes from. This is the genetic rebirth. Again, these memories, these psychophysical events, yes, they do travel through bloodlines, these impressions. So this is where you get, like I said, people go to see the Pope almost like they're in fear. I mean, do they really believe this shit? Or are they scared of something? I mean, yeah, deep down, fucking power, right? Because power came with the sword in that book. And some superstition to dominate the people. See, this is the real world. So, but again, I'm saying that because couldn't they just stay home and then the Illuminati would have no fucking power, or would they come to everyone's house and, and demand fucking start guillotining people again? You know, think about it. It sounds crazy, but think about it. Would they? Shit, because they need mind control over populations. Again, economic, religious, educational, mental, psychophysical. The animal concept is not wrong. It's actually true if you're really getting deep into this stuff. The sages, the alchemists, and again, the Freemasons, and if you go higher again, the chosen ones see themselves as non-animals, or higher at least, or the potential capacity, or at least their mentality is able to go beyond. They consider all men, most men, one-headed men. We're dickheads, right? They consider themselves two-headed men, or they have use of the mind to a higher degree. They understand subconscious mind, conscious mind, the natural mind, whatever. And this is their alchemical approach. So yes, people are animals. That's not wrong. And so they take on this approach, this mentality, and they rule people in that way with that outlook. And judging by the results, are they wrong? This is the real question. Fuck another Illuminati video. The question is, how right are they? Shit. Because even if you're really conscious, I don't even like using that word anymore. It's so corny. If you're really awakened, don't like using that word anymore either because it's corny. But if you're really conscious by now, you should already have begun to look a little deeper and more closer, actually. Not deeper, actually more closer. Like right at your feet, right in your house, at your neighbors. What is the problem? Like, what is it? Is it really the Illuminati? Or are people just deluded and like to be entertained? So, brings up another point. Entertainment. They programmed everybody with the movies. Of course, because you like to be entertained. Stop watching the fucking movies. Stop watching the TV. Read. Nope, not happening. So, where is the power? And this still speaks to the original question. Stop doing that. And I'm not saying, stop going to work. You don't even have to go that far. Like I said, stop going to see the Pope, because that's a major arm of the Illuminati. But it's not going to happen. And again, why? Maybe fucking fear, half of it. And the rest of it is just stupidity. So it's fear and stupidity. Like I said, the brutal history of the church is known. And that's why I went into why get the adults, scare the shit out of them. They have to tell their kids, go to church. The kids will, 15 years be brainwashed. Bam, gotcha. That's rule. That's how you rule, for lack of a better term, animals. So and they see the people as animals. So, but again, there's truth in that. So I do acknowledge that. You don't want to just have a knee-jerk reaction. Oh no, I'm a human being. I have rights. Like, really? Obviously you don't. Nature leaves every being at the mercy of the predatory instinct of the stronger. So, depending on, what time and place, depending on the causes and conditions, well, then that's, gonna play out a certain way. So, I mean, it's undeniable. So, just getting back to the point, it takes two to play this game. Of course, it's a brutal game. It's not just psycho; it is physical. Like I said, again, stop visiting the Pope. There you go. Half the Illuminati's power is gone. So I don't think there's anything too fantastical. I think it's more on this side of things than the other side of things than people make it out to be. And also it's more on the individual personal side of things than the grand Illuminati side of things as to the major components. But you know, it's not going to change, of course, because again, this is the world of the man animal, and you know, they're gonna you know, if they go down, a lot of us are gonna go down with them, or you know, if they stay up, a lot of us are gonna stay up with them and keep complaining about this shit. But you know, as World War III or some shit breaks out. But that's my whole take on power and the Illuminati, and you know, because you don't hear me talk about them a lot because I know it's real, but also know there's more to it. There's just more dynamics behind this scenario that everybody, you know, rants and raves about. So for now, peace.